it's been revealed that a Libyan man suspected of making the bomb is in US custody. 270 people died when a Pan Am flight exploded over Lockerbie just before Christmas 1988. As our diplomatic correspondent James Landale reports, it has been a long search for justice for the victims' families.
It was just after 7 in the evening on the 21st of December 1988 when the town of Lockerbie was engulfed in flame. Pan Am Flight 103 had left Heathrow for New York, but in the skies above Scotland a massive explosion ripped through its fuselage and down it came. Most of the 259 passengers and crew were American. They all died, as did 11 others whose homes were struck by falling debris. It remains the worst act of terrorism in British history. This is the man the US authorities accuse of making the bomb, Abu Ajayla Massoud, here in Libya, where he'd been tried and held for separate crimes. 2 years ago, the US Attorney General formally charged Massoud with making the device which brought down Flight 103. But he remained in Libya, and only now have the US authorities been able to get access to him and take him into their custody in circumstances which remain unclear. Cara Vibes, whose brother Rick Manetti died at Lockerbie, hoped justice could now be done.
To know now that one of those who's involved in the bombing is coming to the US to stand trial and face justice through our legal system, I think that it is something that we have been fighting for over 3 decades. So I think there is a sense of finally justice for our loved ones.
This is the only man to have been convicted of the Lockerbie bombing, Abdul Basit al-Megrahi. He was jailed in 2001, but later released and allowed to return home to Libya because he was dying of cancer. His conviction was subject to several appeals, doubts that were echoed by some victims' families, including John Mosey, whose daughter Helga died.
Fills my mind with questions, really. First of all, why is it taking so long? Secondly, what's he doing in America? This was a crime committed on above Scottish soil, but which came to land on Scottish soil. Therefore, it's the responsibility of the Scottish legal system.
So with the anniversary of the bombing only days away, the search for justice for those who died continues 34 years on. James Landale, BBC News.
Well, our correspondent Alexandra Mackenzie is in Lockerbie this evening, and Sarah Smith, our North America editor, joins us now from Washington. Sarah, what happens now?
Well, we know that Abu Ajayla Massoud is in US custody and is being extradited to America to stand trial. We don't know exactly where he is now, but he is expected to appear in a federal court here in Washington, D.C. soon. The US authorities have been seeking him ever since 2017, when the FBI learned that he had confessed in Libya to his involvement in the bombing. And the authorities here have also always been keen to stress that that one trial in 2001 was not the end of this matter, that they have never given up seeking to bring more people to justice for the Lockerbie bombing. So to be able to put on trial here in America a man accused of being central to that plot will be considered a major success for law enforcement. And of course, most of the victims of the Lockerbie bombing were US citizens, and their families have always wanted to see a trial happening here in America.
And Alexandra, you're in Lockerbie where the disaster unfolded on the ground, and this news comes not long before the actual anniversary.
That's right, Michelle. I'm here at the Garden of Remembrance, and many people in Lockerbie will be remembering that flight. 34 years on, we come up to the 34th anniversary, just days before Christmas, and many of the families who lost loved ones come to Lockerbie, particularly at this time of year, to remember and to reflect on what happened. And some of the UK families have never believed, they don't believe that Libya was involved in the bombing. So today's development for them is unlikely to bring any closure and unlikely to bring answers to those questions that they've been asking now for almost 34 years.
Alexandra Mackenzie in Lockerbie, Sarah Smith in Washington, thank you both.